The Eagles' story is all talent and sketchy coaching. That's why half to half, quarter to quarter, drive to drive, you don't know what Philadelphia's offense is. Against Dallas last week, coming out of the gate against a terrible team, their first 5 drives, punt, touchdown, interception, punt, fumble. And Dallas is terrible. Eventually, they just out-talent people like last night. And you can do that. Look at their wins. Giants, Jags, Browns, young Washington team. But when they're on script, coaching, game planning, they have 2 offensive touchdowns all year long in the first quarter. First quarter is generally a coaching quarter. That, especially when you have better players. Look at their wins this year. I mean, look at them. Saints, Browns, Giants, Bengals, Jags, Cowboys. And again, Commanders are a young team. They're thin. They're a little beat up. They didn't even target Terry McLaurin once in the first half. The reality is they're a solid team. They're probably, Commanders are the best average team in the league. They're the best average team. And that may get you in 7th seed, but this coaching is going to get exposed against a team like a Detroit, a Kansas City, a Baltimore, a Buffalo. You can't, you can't just be a knockout artist in boxing. That was the early, late Mike Tyson, right? We're going to see him fight tonight. You got to have a jab. You got to have conditioning. You have to have a good cornerman. They don't. They just have talent. I mean, even the Dodgers, easily the best talent in baseball. Easily. But against the Mets, the Padres, and the Yankees, they had to brilliantly, masterfully, from Dave Roberts, their manager, use their resources sparingly and wisely, strategy, to beat teams that they clearly had better talent than. I mean, the Mets have like 1 great player. The Dodgers have like 5. But they still, the best team doesn't always win. Kansas City gets down to the 4th quarter against the Niners, and they trail, or against the Eagles, and they trail, and that's with Andy Reid and Mahomes. Coaching becomes crucial, and I just don't get what they do in Philadelphia. It's all talent. It's dubious coaching. And talent, by the way, raises the floor, but coaching raises the ceiling. Okay? Talent, a lot of talent makes sure you're not terrible. But the coaching is what takes good to very good and very good to great. And I don't know, on script, this is the worst team full of good players in the league. And by the way, Jalen Hurts, a good player. Last night he was off. He was out of rhythm. It happens. Thursday night games are tough. I totally get it, especially against divisional rivals. But everybody in the world had the Eagles plus, minus 3.5. Philadelphia's going to win that game. They got better players. I mean, how many guys for the Washington Commanders even start for Philadelphia? For the record, I understand Bengals, Ravens, you get these Thursday night games. It's division rivals. That's what the league wants, because they don't want teams getting on 5-hour flights. So they want Baltimore to play a Cincinnati. They want Washington to play the Giants, or Washington to play Philadelphia. I get it. So these Thursday night games, teams now in week 10 and 11, they look tired on Thursday night. I thought both teams in the first half looked a little shot. You don't hit during this week of practice. It's walkthrough. So some of this I understand. But I just, the talent disparity in this game was so substantial. And you're sitting there and you're watching and you're thinking, basically at the end, Philadelphia just kept leaning on them. And Washington's very thin roster ran out of gas. It wasn't anything clever. A tush push here, a Saquon Barkley run there. I don't know. I just think eventually coaching takes good to great. That's Kansas City's roster is very good. It's not great. The coaching makes it great. I think Philadelphia is eventually going to meet a Detroit, because Dan Campbell right now is doing a great job coaching. Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, feels like they have a great staff. Philadelphia, at quarter to quarter, half to half, I'm not sure what I get with that offense. Okay, so I am not precious when it comes to sports. Out of college, I got a job in Vegas. I love Daredevils, Robbie Knievel. I loved boxing. But I've never bought into the sanctity of boxing. Now, give me a break. Do you hear yourself? It's a money grab. So tonight, Jake Paul takes on Mike Tyson. I'm in. Yesterday, they had their stare down. Tyson and his camp saying Jake Paul stepped on his foot. Tyson slapped him. And boxing, once again, is just that carnival that comes to town and sets up in the mall parking lot. Half the carnies are ex-cons. You're not sure any of the rides are safe. You're not sure you should be doing it. You're asking your friend, is this legal? But it's a blast. It's just a messy, dysfunctional, unhealthy blast. So Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, count me in. It's an elephant ear for dinner, and a deep-fried funnel cake for dessert. You may go home and feel sick to your stomach, but you only do it about once a year. That's how often you care about boxing. And perfectly placed at Jerry's World. I can hear the carnival barker. See the dangerous man in the world take on a YouTube sensation. Step right up. That's what this is. But Mike Tyson is also the rare athlete that has mystique. He's a little wilt. Tiger when he went into the rough. Bo Jackson. Where does reality end and the tall tale begin? With Tyson, I covered him in Vegas when I was 22 years old. There were a lot of stories I can't repeat, I wouldn't put in print. I'm not sure I'd tell people over a cocktail at a lounge. That inappropriate. But he's endured, and that's kind of what America allows. Redemption, we're a little judgy, build you up, tear you down. For a generation of kids, Mike Tyson's just that guy from The Hangover. Jake Paul is favored. He's much younger. He's much bigger. A great reach advantage, and I think Mike Tyson knows that. I tend to take pro athletes against YouTube sensations when they meet. I'm not really sure. I'm going to watch because I don't get precious with sports, and specifically boxing. There's all sorts of elegance in sports, like the Masters. And there's all sorts of rules in sports we should follow. Baseball has those. Boxing, it's the carnival that comes to town once a year and sets up in the parking lot at the mall. You'll eat stuff, do stuff, and question your judgment. But in the end, you look back and go, God, that was great. I may have thrown up in the parking lot. Never go on that whirly thing after several cocktails, but it's a good time. For a couple hours, it's a good time. And tonight, even the stare down, count me in. I'm having a deep-fried funnel cake for dinner, baby. Count me in.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.